Good funky joints. It's Kev from Kevin's Corner, where I try to make sense out of nonsense. First thing I need to do is make sure y'all can hear me. It won't matter what I think if y'all can't hear me. So tonight is Friday, and I'm gonna do a quick mic check. Make sure, first of all, some notifications. Then when somebody said hello, all right, click on the YouTubes. Okay, my alternative channel. Something says live, but that's old. That's old. All right, let's see. That's old of Kev. All right, I want something new. I want something new. All right, there it is. Oh, yeah. That's the one I'm looking for right here. And I got a commercial. Y'all. Now, I'm going to have to sit here and let this commercial play. That's what I'm going to do. So I can make some cheese. Yeah, there's other ways for me to maybe make a couple bucks or so doing what I do. But YouTube is making it difficult. So, I got to get in where I fit in. It'd be nice to, have that Charlie Kirk money, that, that Dave Rubin stuff, who else is out there just doing it big? B. Tatum, but they caught me. They caught me before my channel exploded to be that big. So they're trying to keep me right at a certain point and pretend it ain't their fault. It's everybody else's fault but them. It's everybody else's fault. So I rely on you guys. Thank you, by the way. Somebody said, nice hat. Friday with Kev. That's right, man. Let's do it. Doing it live. That's what we're going to do. And this is live. I know I think it might have been a troll the other day. I was rereading all of the comments. And yeah, apparently somebody was questioning whether I was live or Memorex, and I had to let them know that, yeah, I am live. So now, since y'all can't hear me, I might as well go ahead and get busy. It's Friday night, y'all. Some of y'all might run off. Whoa. I don't want to rock the planet that loud. Yeah, let's go ahead and lower that a bit. There we go. Click on that. There it is. Now we can rock the planet. A little bit lower, more tolerable. Yeah. Like real Godzilla. Real Godzilla. Real Godzilla. Gorillas in here. Gorillas in here. Gorillas in here. Yeah, man. Yeah, it's bad when you start complaining about how loud music is. You're getting old then. Now, is it loud? Is that loud to you? I used to like it that way. Boy, I tell you, man, my old man, he used to be like, dude, you better not be listening to your car music that loud, man. You ain't gonna be able to hear when you get my age. Dad, you and your imagination. My ears are invincible. Huh? Didn't you know that? Yeah, at 16, 17, you had bionic ears. That's what you thought. Man, I took a hearing test for this job that I got. Oh, I barely passed, y'all. I barely passed. The lady was laying in on that button, and I was just in there cooling inside the little booth. And like, okay, when is the test gonna start? She started like 5 minutes ago, pushing the button. I was just sitting there looking around like, this stupid test. Then finally I start hearing a little bit of beep. I think that. Can I put both up? Can I put them? No? Okay. So I'm just going to gamble. A couple of them are full-blown guests. I was sitting there like, oh, shoot. I thought I heard something. I don't know if sure. I'm just going to raise my hand. When in doubt, raise the hand. Just raise the hand. She got out of that bad boy talking about something. So have you ever thought about a hearing aid? You might, if you don't watch your ears from now on, you might. I was like, oh, boy. I'm going to pass you. And see, that is why we need people with bass in the voice. Because, see, I'm having trouble hearing high-frequency sounds. So when I watch people on CNN and MSNBC, and they trout out all of those men with no bass in their voice, you know what I'm saying? I can't hear that mess. I'm like, turn up the bass. So there it is. That's my little rant about my ears. I don't know how I got on that. But anyway, it is what it is. So thank you for joining the show tonight. Don't forget to also check out Kevin's Corner store, which you can go ahead and click on the link below each video. You get your merch, and this number on the screen, 330-974-4607, is the number you can text MAGA to, so you can stay connected with me just in case YouTube does decide to finally put a plug on me. They're tolerating me right now, so I can't complain, but I'm also thankful they haven't cut me off completely. So we'll see. But you guys all contribute to that as far as helping me stay in business, and I appreciate that. So with no further ado, y'all, we got to talk about some stuff tonight. And then we're going to end with the brain who explains all this hubbub when it comes down to the tariffs, y'all. So the fake news is always looking for a reason to cause all kind of panic and these narratives, and they definitely want to see the Trump administration completely fold. They want to see them lay one of the biggest eggs ever, so they can say, we told you so. Kamala would have been better, or Joe Biden would have been better, which they all know that's not true. And so Donald Trump has been tasked with turning some things around and implementing some things that should have been implemented years ago. But we've had a whole bunch of bootleg politicians that didn't have the spine to either do it, or they were in cahoots with the people who allowed our country to get to the level to where we now have to go ahead and launch all these tariffs. And so I don't know about you, but I'm like, let's go to war, okay? Okay? What are we going to do, Trump? What are we going to do? We're going to go to war. That's what we're going to do. So before we go to war on that, though, we got to talk about the war on women. Yeah, man, we got another case, y'all. Another case of them attacking women. So in this case, it was a physical event too, a physical event. And this lady said, I'm not gonna take it. So let's see what happened. Because the Democrats be defending this.
We see you take a knee, and then the official comes over. What did you say to the official at that point?
Initially, I told them that I was refusing defense because this person is a man and I am a woman, and this is a women's tournament. And
pretty simple stuff that, years ago, everybody knew. In fact, years ago, everybody would have said, stop the press. Everybody would have went out there and said, hey, ref, do you not recognize that's a man right there? I don't care how he dressed up, makeup he put on. That's a man. And ref, oh, my fault. Glad you told me. Excuse me, sir. What are you doing over here trying to fence against the women? Get your butt over there with the men. That's what would have happened before the world went crazy. See, and it would still be happening if we didn't have a whole political party who emboldened these people who came up with this crazy idea and then went to war for them. And still lightweight going to war for them. They don't want to, straight up, initiate the defense for them because they took it to the chin, as this woman's about to explain, much over this issue. But if you press them, if you start asking too many of these Dems, how you feel about this now? They will still be like either yes, or they will work their way around it. You know what? It's all about letting people live out the truth and this and this and that. So here we are. All of that nonsense led to this person getting in this competition with her and full-blown bold, confident that I'm going to be able to compete. And in this dude's mind, he's like, I don't see what the problem is. I'm a girl. And this ref is like, I don't see what the problem is. And I guess the league, I don't see what the problem is. But guess who does? The woman right there. And she spoke up. And this is why the Democrats are losing people. Listen to this.
I refused defense on principle.
So we see your opponent comes over. What did you say to your opponent at that point?
My opponent was a little bit confused, thinking that I was maybe hurt. And I said, no, I am refusing to defend you because I'm a woman and you are a man. I have much love and respect for you, but I will not compete against you.
So basically, this woman had to stand up for herself because the league isn't. And apparently, I don't know what state this is with, tournament, what college league it is or whatever, but it's stupidity. Full-blown stupidity. You're putting these women in a compromised situation here. So either they got to forfeit the sport that they love or get out there and get beat by a man. And I like it. Get out there and let these dudes, beat them up in a boxing ring, in the MMA ring, or smoke them on the track field, or do whatever, whatever sport these guys are allowed to get into. Beat them by like 20 or 30 seconds in a swim meet. Here you are running your, 800-meter dash, and all of a sudden you get done and the guy's been done about 2 or 3 minutes before you. Stuff like that. And you can't complain. You got to get up there on the podium and act like you're excited and just thankful to win, silver or bronze. I'm just thankful to be able to compete. Congratulations, girl. Congratulations. Knowing the image in your head, you're scratching that person's eyeballs out. Got to be. So this woman decided I'm going to do the right thing and take the initiative. I'm not going to wait until this man beat me and then I'm standing on a podium looking stupid. I'm going to say, if you're going to beat me, I'm going to take a stance right now. I'm going to forfeit and say, go ahead, take it. Take it. You feel good about this? You feel good about this? And if many of these other women start doing this, even though Trump passed this executive order, we got schools and we got states and cities who's like, I don't care. I don't care what the federal government says, until one of these bootleg activist judges decide to come up with an idea. And then it's all of a sudden, you got to respect what these judges say. You got to respect what these judges, but they don't respect the executive order saying that men should not compete in women's sports. We're all feminists. So this woman takes a knee, but it affected her in more than just her sport. This is the type of insanity that wakes up people who just got a little common sense left to say, this party who is pushing this and supporting this is crazy. Maybe I need to vote the opposite direction.
His response was, okay, but there's a member of the board of directors here and he supports me. There's a policy that says that I'm a woman and I'm allowed to compete in the women's.
Yeah, but then there's the truth. I don't care how many people that supports me. I don't care how many policies they come up with. I don't care if they get together and they try to come up with a calculation of how much the estrogen you have to take, and if the person starts at this moment, and they have to be on it X amount of. No, you can't estrogen your way out of your genetics. It can only go so far. So I don't care if the whole wide world decided this is okay. Not Kev. I decided to take a stand. Not knowing I'd lose my best friends. But I'd rather I'd rather live right. That's what I would rather do. So I don't care if everybody come talking about that. Everybody's doing it. Not me. Not me. That's a dude out there.
Tournament, and if you do this, you're going to get black carded. And I said, I know.
As a result, the female fencer received a black card and was disqualified from the event.
Well, look at
So
that.
here's what USA Fencing said in a statement to Fox News Digital. USA Fencing enacted our current transgender and non-binary athlete policy in 2023. The policy was designed to expand access to the sport of fencing and create inclusive, safe spaces.
Yeah. Everybody's safe and inclusive except the people who should be safe and inclusive. There you go. See, this was nonsense we didn't have to put up with years ago until the Democrats lost their mind. See, these are people who probably had a little problem up top anyway. But when you get society pretending, or even powerful people who are pretending that your delusion or your little special issue is valid, then they start expressing this, and then they go live. They get emboldened. Now they're running around like, yo, you got to do this. And all of these institutions were bending the knee for them. And now we see that there are some institutions that are coming back to sanity, but then there's those, they full-blown crazy. They like, we're going down with the ship. We're going to hang on to this nonsense and let this dude get in there. And now look what happened to the girl. She's the one disqualified. Boy, I tell you, man, this right here is to the sense.
It goes on to talk more, but this idea about inclusive, safe spaces, what about inclusive, safe spaces for female athletes?
Yeah.
Right.
Listen
There's
to this.
nothing for me and there's everything for him. I'm a woman and I have an athletic disadvantage to men, so I compete in the women's division.
There you go. There is no advantage for any female who competes against a male in their sport. None whatsoever. All of your off-season training, your deep squats, your donkey calf raises, your shoulder shrugs, running in the water, using an oxygen mask. I don't care what type of training, going uphill like da-da-da, getting to the top of it like transgenders. It doesn't matter. None of that will be able to compete with that testosterone running through that man's body. So there is no advantage, but it's every advantage to the guy. That guy, if he got any decent skills, can beat this woman without training. I used to fence, it was about 15 years ago. I still got the muscle memory, I guess. Yeah, I'll get in there and will probably beat her for reasons like we're about to hear.
Where I rightfully am. But he has been given this opportunity to fence in the women's division, and he can compete. He can easily compete in the men's division. He can also compete at mixed events in local tournaments.
Yeah, he could do that.
There is a place for him.
Yeah, but why would he do that? See, why would these people do the sensible, common sense thing to stop ticking everybody off? The goal is to tick everybody off and make them accept it. Yeah, shove it down everybody's throat. Instead of being reasonable and having a little common sense, and a little empathy and understanding. Yeah, I just got here. Transgenders just got here. See, yeah, the women's been here. Y'all just got here, which really, there's no such thing. But nonetheless, just got here, can't tell been here nothing. But since y'all here, all of a sudden it's all, well, now you got to go ahead and let us. Well, isn't it odd that they never want to just stay in the men's sports? I mean, why don't they just say, even though I'm a female, I feel that we should, it'd be fair if I compete against the guys. Well, that's the reason you moved over to the girls' league, because you were getting beat by the guys. And then you saw an advantage. You said, if I go ahead and implement what's been really going on in my mind, whether it's true or not. I mean, for all we know, there could be a lot of sorry guys just pretending to be girls so they can go over there and continue their athletic career. For all we know. I'm sure many of them believe that they are women. But, when you open up the door for this type of nonsense, anybody could just straight up be like, dude, man, I suck. I'm here. I'm a wrestler in college. I'll never see the mat. I'm in like fifth stream. But you know what? Though? I'm looking at the girls over there. If I go ahead and implement my trans side, I might be able to go ahead and win state competition or something. Who's to stop them? So this is what you get when you implement this type of nonsense, and the Democrat Party is behind a lot of it.
Lifelong Democrat, this woman was. And she said, I changed on this issue alone.
Thank you.
There's nothing for me.
You hear that? She said she was a lifelong Democrat and she changed on this issue alone. Now, everybody who's been watching Kevin's Corner for a while, my litmus test when it comes down to a sane voter, anybody in society who got some common sense left, the litmus test is this. Would you trust a politician who didn't know the difference between a man and a woman? And if you say, well, you never know. Yeah, I got a problem with you. You're done. See, that whole party over there is scared to say, yeah, I know what a woman and a man is. But they'll sit up there and tell you all kind of stuff, and you believe all of that, but you can't. You're sitting there listening to them, and they say, but we don't know what a man or a woman is, or they could just change their gender like that. If they will lie to you about something so fundamental, so factual, then they'll lie to you about anything. But if you would overlook that lie, yeah, you're free game. The rest of anything the Democrats tell you, you will swallow. You swallow that one, they're like, oh, that person's a garbage disposal. We can shove whatever garbage down this voter's throat because they believe that men can be women and women can be men. I didn't think it would work. Honestly, I never thought it would work. But she said, geez, man, it worked just like that. Yeah. And then you got idiots out there like, what, do you never know? I'm going, wow. Okay. So this woman, she passed the test. She passed the litmus test on that alone. They said, what? They're supporting what? Wait a minute. If they're lying about this, my eyes are open. That party is liars. And look what she did.
And there's everything for him. I'm a woman and I have an athletic disadvantage to men, so I compete in the women's division, which is where I rightfully am.
I actually went back a little far.
But he has been given this opportunity to fence in the women's division, and he can easily compete in the men's division.
Yeah, and by the way, since I went back a little bit, why don't all of the women who think they're men jump into men's sports? Nobody ever questions that? Nobody ever see why that's not a trend? We don't have those running around? Where are all the female that became men fencers? Where are they? Where are all the female swimmers who became men in the men's swimming? They don't want to do that. They don't want to jump over there. Where are all the females who think they're men jumping in men boxing matches? Where are they? They're not there because there is an obvious physical advantage. But yet the dumb people, they don't even acknowledge it.
He can also compete at mixed events in local tournaments if he wants.
Yeah,
There is a place for him.
This was a lifelong Democrat, this woman was. And she said, I changed on this issue alone. She said, I voted red down the ticket this year. It was like waking up to the lies of the mainstream media. And she's not.
Bam, bam. Boy, I tell you. And they were swearing down that wasn't a big enough issue that swung the election. When they ran that commercial, Kamala Harris is for they, them. Donald Trump is for you. Destroyed them. Anybody who hadn't been paying attention to current events or they've been caught up in some of the rhetoric about Trump and all of that, and then you see Kamala Harris, in her own words, commit to paying for transgender reassignment for illegal immigrant prisoners. I mean, I don't care if I've been voting Democrat for 30 years. If I'm a hard-working American and I saw that, here I am cracking open a cold one, sitting down in that commercial pop-up while I'm watching feetball. And I said, she said, what? What the heck is, you know what? I can't do it. Not with this party. So let's continue.
Alone, there was a 25-year-old who told the New York Times, I was radicalized because of this issue of biological men in women's sports.
Yeah. Just like many of their voters are radicalized about pretty much any propaganda that the Democrats feed them. So this person realized how foolish they were. They was like, man, I was radicalized about this, out there. They're women too. They're women too. Honor their pronouns. And came to their senses. Thank God that person did. And many, many others. So thank goodness for that, y'all. And the reason that people are waking up and the Democrats are in such disarray and they're tanking when it comes down to the polls is because of a couple people in their party, and we're going to show you them before we move on.
Well, the reality is science isn't bigotry, it's fact. These men can't.
But when you can't argue the facts, you got to go with bigotry. That's why they always do it. Every argument, every debate ends in bigotry. I mean, haven't you noticed that? You think they're going to get out there and argue why our border has been open and all these people been coming across? No. You're a bigot. You're a bigot if you don't want these people coming across. You think they're going to get out there and argue any of the crazy policies? No. Just slap bigotry right in your face. Throw up a little bit of Nazi. So, maybe it's sprinkle some Russia, though. You might get some of that, though. Some Russia collusion or something like that, or a Putin puppet in there if you're not careful. But the main ingredient is going to be some racism, some bigotry.
Can't cut it with the other male athletes, so therefore they are coming into the female sports. There are biological unfairness when you have a biological male competing in women's sports.
Common sense.
When it comes to their strength, their bone density, their muscle mass, all of a sudden this has become completely unfair to female athletes and has taken us back decades and decades of progressive movements trying to get fairness for women athletes.
Yep. Take it back. Take us back. So now, all of the progress to get women's sports and stuff like that are being unraveled by men who think they're women. Isn't that odd? Full circle.
It's true, as you describe the biological differences, it includes as well wingspan, right? And so for a sport that depends on the distance of arms and then at the other end of...
Yeah, because, for me to be my height, I got a long wingspan. Yeah, so just because I jump in there with another 5'9" woman don't mean my long wingspan ain't gonna catch her right there. Keep her right at the end of my right jab, and because I'm ambidextrous, keep her right there at the end of the left jab. And she's like, I don't understand. I'm 5'9", he's 5'9". Why is his paws so big? Why does his jab sting so much? And he hasn't even launched a hard power shot. Why? Why is this? He says he's been taking his estrogen. Why is it? Because my hands won't shrink. That's why. My heart won't shrink. That's why. My wingspan doesn't contract. No, that stuff stays the same. But don't forget, on the inside though, on the inside I feel different. On the inside.
Of a sword, that's a big deal. But even bigger is the reaction. You're telling me that who was disqualified was the person who dared to stand up for protecting biological women in sports. Why wasn't that other individual
Because the Democrats, they major in protecting and supporting the person that isn't the victim. Everybody but the victim. Yeah, you deport a couple MS-13 members and they rush to their aid. You let a couple guys beat up some girls, they rush to their aid. They're like that. They take the opposite of common sense, and the people who are the true victims get persecuted. They get talked about. They get told, you know what, you must be a bigot if you don't want to get in there and let this male fencer beat you probably 10-0. Hey, you must be a bigot. They take the crazy side every time. And they got crazy people being in their party. And that's why you get people like this lady who left the party.
Disqualified. This has gone on too far, and I'm not sure why it continues to happen.
Yeah. See? Well, it happens because of people like this. Crazy people like this.
I want y'all to know that, like, MAGA there's nothing that I could ever say or do that would make MAGA be like, that's our girl.
Exactly, because you're crazy. So now Eyelashes is back. There you go. Yeah. Ugly Foot is back. Got that camera right up in her own face. Eyelashes, of course, scraping the lens as she's blinking. Scraping the lens as she's blinking. She's cleaning the lens of that camera right there with those eyelashes. But here she is. See, these are the Democrats that they're sticking out. And look at her theory on why MAGA won't support anything she ever says. Of course, because MAGA folks got common sense. But she's going to teach us that it's another reason why MAGA folks won't ever support her.
Right? Because, like, first of all, ton of racist.
There it is. It's that simple, guys. First of all, ton of racist. I mean, that's built into the cake when it comes down to being a MAGA supporter. You didn't know that? You think she's going to get out there and say they will never support me because I'm a radical, angry, race-baiting, black female Democrat who pushes all kind of crazy behind Democrat talking points and beliefs. You know, I got a nasty stank attitude. That's why I ain't got no man. My eyelashes are so long, of course, somebody need to go and track down the camel that I stole them from. Or just go ahead and find Snuffleupagus and go ahead and say, sorry, Snuffy, did she snatch your eyelashes like that? But nonetheless, here she is out here pushing what? Racism through a whole bunch of MAGA folks into the category of racist. Now, I don't know if she believes that or not. But the key is, how arrogant is she to think that all of these MAGA supporters, that's what the reason they would never support her. She's so self-absorbed, she don't realize that I am one of the worst, nastiest, obnoxious, stinking, race-baiting politicians on the planet. That's why they will never support me. Have nothing to do with race. But she just said a whole bunch of them. Now, I'm wondering about where all these racists are. I mean, I'm a little curious. You would think the bulk of them would be found at a MAGA rally. You would think that. Shoot. And I done been to multiple MAGA rallies. Not once did they cut the music in the middle of singing the YMCA as the black man walks in. Never once. No evil looks, no nothing. But here this woman is talking about, first of all, a lot of racists, and then, of course, the false reality she's about to download into the head of vulnerable people.
So never happening, right? But you have to understand that, number one,
What?
They want to distract from all the disastrous things that they're doing.
Are you kidding me? That's the funny part about it. We spit out all of these facts and everything that we're doing, explain it, very transparent. And she's talking about distract from all the things that we're doing. We're out there celebrating the things that we're doing. We talk about the things that we're doing. We're not ashamed or shy. We bring up the things that we're doing and we keep it real with the people. Unlike the whole Democrat Party, who they distracted from how horrible they governed. And that is why they got their butts beat. And we're about to prove it.
While literally they are risking all of our security.
What?
Not the security of Democrats, not the security of independents.
Literally risking all of our security, y'all. Like how? Like what? Putting our soldiers in danger? Because of a stupid, departure from Afghanistan, getting soldiers killed? That type of putting us in danger? Or how about allowing 11 million plus illegal immigrants sprinkled in with a couple Chinese nationalists, don't forget, couple Middle Eastern terrorists, and a whole heap of gang members from South America, sprinkled in with all of that. Sprinkled, and don't even the ones that might not be in the gang, then a whole bunch of them though, they came in here with little murder charges and armed robbery and assault, whole bunch of shenanigans came in, thrusted upon our whole country by that stinking party. And she's talking about putting us all in danger. All of us in danger. And you wonder why. See, these are the reasons why we will never, ever accept her until she would have to show complete repentance. She would have to go on a full-blown rampage against the Democrat Party and expose every foul thing that I'm able to see for me to even think for 1 second she's redeemable. 1 second.
But they are risking the security of all of us in so many ways.
What the administration is doing, only 33% said because they like what the administration is doing. So if we want to just keep
Question, who's more popular right now, Donald Trump or congressional Democrats?
it doesn't matter, Donald Trump.
Oh, it doesn't matter though. See, that's how you shut them up. This is why people are leaving that party. First of all, stupid stuff like the lady who was in the fencing competition. Then you get people like Jasmine Uglyfoot Crockett that they're sticking out. And then you get this idiot out here who wants to go ahead and overlook all of those polls as she's trying to convince everybody nobody likes what Donald Trump and them is doing.
He's a good president, doesn't he?
It doesn't. Holy Toledo. Voters' views of the Democrats in Congress among all voters disapprove 68%.
Oh.
And look at the approved number.
Oh.
Just 21%,
Oh, God.
even lower than the Democratic Party at large. This is the lowest on record for Democrats, according to Quinnipiac University.
Swing low, sweet Democrats. Yeah, man. They are lording low. That is your base. How low can you go? Death row with a brother no. Once again, back is the incredible, rhyme animal, the impitiable, the public enemy number one. 5, 4, 6 freeze. And I got none. Yeah, man, they are nice and low.
Diversity polling.
It
doesn't.
He's sitting at 50-50.
You're sitting at 20-80.
He's at 48-50, actually.
Oh.
And increasingly people, you want to call the AP and tell
You
them
want to call CBS News?
Sure.
Call them up.
We're not going to go to that over.
Oh yeah. Maggie, Abby don't want him to go to the mat because she know the polls. Yeah, they are out there straight up, Barry White low. My darling, I can't get enough of your love, baby. They are Barry White low. Show you right. Unbelievable.
Let's have a look.
Yeah, let's have
This
a look.
is a story about balance and the things that are going well in the public mind for him.
He's sitting at
His popularity is
50-50.
going
You're sitting
down.
at 20-80.
He's at
honestly.
48-50.
And you know why you're sitting at 2080? Because of stupid stuff like, I thought if a man thinks he's a woman and wants to compete against women, then I don't see what the problem is. Stuff like that. The reason y'all sitting there sending out people like Uglyfoot talking about everybody's a racist and all of this stuff. Yeah, that's why. And then getting on CNN and trying to pretend that everybody hates what Donald Trump and him is doing.
50, actually. And increasingly people, you want to call the AP and tell
You
them
want to call CBS News?
I'm just
Sure.
Call them up.
Man, I'm tired of being right.
right, Ace.
His numbers are going, his approval ratings are going down.
Where are yours headed?
We got next.
It doesn't matter. It doesn't matter if the truth is the truth. Okay, I'm just gonna keep saying it. Everybody hates Donald Trump, and the truth is going down, and he's nobody likes him. Well, what about yours? Well, you're 21%. The Democrats are a ship without a sail, and I'm loving it. So now they're trying to hang on to all kind of narratives that they can push to make Elon and Trump and all of them look more unpopular. And one of the narratives, of course, is just lying about what Doge is doing, about what Elon is doing, what Trump is going to eliminate or not eliminate, just straight line. And they brought somebody on Abby's show, and he did not agree. In fact, what he did is he exposed that Abby is a operative. She's nothing more than a propagandist. And watch how she changes as he goes ahead and exposes what she's trying to do. I love this right here.
He came to the state and talked about cutting Medicaid, Social Security through Doge, bringing those issues up.
Actually, never talked.
See, there it is. Scare all the old people, scare all the people with Medicaid, scare all the people with Medicare. I don't care if Trump says it a million times. I'm not cutting Medicaid. I'm not cutting Medicare. Medicare. They just straight go out. They straight go out there and just say, they're still cutting Medicare. They're going after your Medicare. And I'm going, is it okay for y'all to just, after the person himself has repeatedly said, that's not what I'm doing. They just go out there and continue to say it. Continue to say it. See, so let's go ahead and watch how this man exposes this woman right here.
He explicitly said in Green Bay that he would not cut Social Security.
Well,
That's exactly what he said.
talked at his rallies.
No, other people said about that, but I was there, I watched it. He
Okay.
did not say he was
All
going
right,
to cut
okay.
Medicaid.
Other people at his rallies who work for Doge, who work for Elon Musk's organization, talked about those issues.
No, I was.
Oh, she's getting exposed by Doge. So first she started off with, he said it. Then when this guy said, no, I was there, he didn't say it. Oh, shoot. Darn it. Okay, God, then let me go to my default. Well, other people who work for Doge, they talked about it. Now, notice she's saying this as if she has firsthand information. Firsthand information. So, like, she heard them talking about it. Now, all he would have had to do is say, which ones from Doge was talking about it? And what did they say? Boy, that would have been funny to see Abby have to juggle that one. Like, which ones? Who? What they say? Because she don't know. So she went from Elon said it to that somebody in Doge said it, and she's hoping that he just lets that go. But he's not.
Was at the rally, not a one of them said that. That's what protesters said, but nobody there actually said
Do you think that there are
Look, she's trying to overtalk that. She's up here talking about something, but do you think there are risks? Do you think, I hear what you're saying. I hear you're exposing that I'm just making stuff up. I hear you doing that, so I'm gonna ignore it and keep asking some questions. Do you think it's a risk? This burns me up. When they always come out there and they say experts. There it is. Somebody said experts right there. Yeah, they'll say things like everybody's saying it, people are saying, experts say, and all you got to do is ask them which experts, which people, who is saying what. So now she's going to try to overlook the fact that this guy has already debunked two of her lies. She went to the first lie, then the default lie. The default lie was, oh, shoot. Okay, well, the people in Doge was saying it. And he's like, no, I was there. Nobody in Doge was saying it. Okay, but do you do? And watch how she tries to slide off this hook.
risks here?
There are
for
people believing the lies that
in
people are
those
saying
issues
about
being
that.
Bam! There are people at risk. The people that are at risk are the people believing the lies that you people are saying about them. Those are the vulnerable ones in our society, unfortunately. The ones with the zombie brains that's out there reacting as if their whole life has been upended and Doge is taking away everything and Elon Musk is going to steal all of this and we got to burn down his Teslas and shoot up the, all this and snatch people out the car because of how evil he is. And don't forget, he's a Nazi and all of that stuff. Those are the ones that are in danger because of people who lie like this. Now, if this dude would not have checked her on these lies, do you think she would have self-checked? You think she'd have, actually my fault. Nobody actually from Doge or Elon said that. You think she'd have did that? If he would have let her, she would have went right on, allowing her audience to think that Elon Musk was saying these things.
That's not at all what they said. If people believe that Medicaid and Medicare is going to be touched, that's just a flat, outright lie. What he talked about are people who are over 120 years old, who clearly are not.
Oh, now watch this. Now she got to defend this. Now she got to go ahead and say, well, now you know what they do? Instead of looking for the truth, they always just go, there's no evidence. That's not true. That's not true. Because see, if we found out this was true, then of course we would have to hurt the Democrats with all of this truth. But our job is to come out here and defend them. Now, you know what's crazy about all of these networks that are defending the Democrats and trying to cover up for them and attack what Elon is doing to those? Don't they see the writing on the wall? Don't they see that Doge is getting closer and closer to exposing so much corruption that's probably going to expose some particular people? And when they come out with all this evidence, they are all going to be on the wrong side of this, like they all were on the wrong side of Joe Biden's mental decline. They defend it until they can't defend it anymore. And the truth is so in everybody's face, then they got to act like they just got the revelation, the epiphany. And they just overlook all of the months of Doge coming out saying, hey, look at this. We found this. We found that and this and this and that. You can look at it if you want. We got a website and here's all the information. We don't want to see that. No, you know what? They're lying. There's no evidence. But when it finally hits to where it's undeniable, watch all these stinking, nasty, sleazy worms start pretending that they were ahead of the curve. I kind of said something was going on. Now, they could all choose to be heroes. They could all say, you know what? Let's listen to what we're about to hear and say, that does sound suspicious, but not Abby.
Well, the reason I brought it
getting
up is
Social Security or Medicaid.
okay. Well, let's
totally wrong. I think
just to sort
Democrats even
just to
believe
sort this
that.
out. The reason I brought this up is
Because I try to spread propaganda. That's the reason. The reason I brought this up is because we're doing hit pieces on Elon Musk and Doge and them because the Democrat Party told us to protect their slush funds.
because the claim here is that there's massive widespread fraud and that's
just the
all
claim?
they're addressing. That's obviously a disputed claim because it's not true that
It's not true.
120-year-old people are getting Social Security.
Of course it's not true that 120-year-old people are getting Social Security checks because they're dead. See? So there has to be another truth, Abby. Because the checks are going out. They're just not receiving it. I mean, maybe I could go to the graveyard and find out one of these people kick the bucket and sit there at the end of the month waiting for the check to show up at the casket. Well, they're not getting it. They're not getting it. So that's a part of a truth. See, they'll say something stupid like that, just sort of say, you know what, as a disclaimer, we said that they were not getting it. That's not true. Well, of course they're not getting it. That means if they're going out, it's fraudulent. See, so they'll make a stupid statement like that and pretend that all they were doing was just stating a truth.
Checks. The checks stop at a certain point
No, they don't.
automatically because those checks and
But those
balances
Social
are
Security
already
numbers
in place.
get-
So we're about to find out.
jaw-dropping-
Here we go.
Big number. Where did all those people come from?
Well, it made my jaw drop too when I saw it. We
mine
were in
too.
Social Security looking for fraud, waste, and abuse, and to do that, we actually looked at the enumeration system, the system by which people get numbers in America, and we found that there were just about 5+ million of them that came into the country as illegals.
There it is. 5+ million of them came into the country as illegals. Ooh, we getting to the bottom of this, y'all. That's why they got to stop this, man. Now, here's the crazy part about this. All of this stuff that Doge is running across, do you think any of these people got time to just make up lies? I mean, all these are businessmen who, these are smart geniuses. These are guys who got businesses, lots of money. They could be doing a whole bunch of other stuff with their time. They're getting in here and they're discovering this stuff. These aren't things that you just sit around and say, how can we come up with a false narrative and a false claim just to do what? Make the Democrats look bad? Why would we even come up with something like this? But yet they will say, that's not true. None of this is true there. So you're telling me all of these brilliant guys got jobs, could be doing anything. They decide to come here and say, let's go ahead and come up with a whole bunch of rumors about where all of this money from USAID was going, all of this fraudulent money, all of this stuff that was. No, they're not making this up. These are things that they are discovering. That's the only reason they're coming to their brain. Me with all the things I got to do in life, do you think I would have time to sit back and say, you know what, let's come up with a big old lie about Social Security numbers going out to legal immigrants and people that's over 120 plus are getting these checks and stuff like that. Let's come up with that one. Let's come up with that one. Surely nobody will look into it. Surely nobody would demand actual proof for this. We could just come up with that like the Democrats would, and people would just accept it. However, when you are a Republican or you're working for a Republican, everybody demands all the information then. Now, let's see it. So where's the information? See, so now, do you think this guy's just making this up?
We're giving various forms of parole or allowed in the country, and they got through an automatic system, Social Security numbers, to get into our benefit systems.
What?
And we tracked that through and found that they were on the benefit programs. And just because we were curious, we then looked to see if they were on the voter rolls. And we found in a handful of cooperative states that there were thousands of them on the voter rolls and that many of them had voted.
Ooh, no wonder y'all got to go out there and to start boycotting Elon Musk. No wonder. Y'all got to do all of that stuff and everything. Somebody said Trump sold out to Israel? Sold out to Israel or sold out Israel? That's my question. But anyway, so let's finish hearing this because see, all of these Social Security numbers were going out to illegal immigrants and they were getting benefits, y'all. Benefits. So wait, who sent them out? See, these are things that I want to know. All you have to do is start backtracking. Now, I know there was some guy at the bottom who said, okay, let's send this one out to. However, that person wouldn't be doing that unless somebody else up the chain was like, you know what you could do? And just keep going up there. Just keep going up and see who we can find.
That's crazy because you cannot vote in a federal election, but I think in certain local elections you can. But once you get a social security number, that helps you do a lot of stuff.
Yeah.
I know, Antonio. Part of this started with a program from I think 2017 that got started, where if people came into the country and they were authorized to work, they would automatically give them a number. But, Elon was talking a little bit about how 400,000 Social Security numbers were stolen.
400,000 Social Security numbers were stolen. I wonder by who and what for.
It was one person? What can you tell us about that?
That's an ongoing investigation, so I don't know how much I can tell you, but we did find as we looked through the programs, and a particular employee that had actually sent themselves Social Security numbers through their email for reasons we don't understand, but clearly nefarious.
Very nefarious. I don't know about y'all, but I don't see the need to have 700,000 or so Social Security numbers sent to myself. What for? No, that's my question. I'm pretty sure it was for a whole bunch of illegal immigrants or some type of shenanigans when it comes down to voting. And, when you look at all of the stuff that they're talking about, it has Democrat fingerprints written all over it. It does. I mean, with all of the little things that they put in place to support this whole, importation of all these illegal immigrants and trying to get them this and get them that and send them here and make sure that all of this kind of lines up right, along with maybe some things that the Democrats will be saying, this is useful. We need these things. And because we control all of these agencies within the government right now, we didn't expect an Elon Musk and a Doge to come in and start tearing it apart and going through it. We thought we could get away with this system until whatever, and just have everybody wondering, how is it that the Democrats keep winning these elections? How is it that they keep raising all this money? I mean, with as bad as they govern, as bad as their policies are, how is it that all of these folks keep showing up to protests and stuff? I don't get it. But now we are.
Yeah, it does sound like it. So let me ask you this, Antonio. Have you figured out, you saw these millions of people, non-citizens, on the Social Security rolls. Did they get benefits?
Yes, we actually tracked them through the benefit programs. We found them in virtually all the benefit programs. And one statistic for you is we found 1.3 million of them on Medicare.
Oh, snap. You think Abby wants to know that? You think Abby is a hard-hitting journalist that wants to crack this case? Now, all of this corruption is just in the beginning of being exposed. There are real journalists out there. If they were real, they got an opportunity to crack some of the biggest corruption cases ever. I would be bugging these dudes. Any names? Anybody I could track down for you? Who's responsible for this? I want to bust this case wide open. But instead, we got fake news networks pretending that nothing's happening. They're saying, you know what? That's not true. And I'm going, you don't want to know the truth because you can't handle the truth. What? Well, let's get to some other truths, guys. Trump's tariffs. So let's get into it. The Trump tariffs, baby. And let's see if this is gonna shake some feathers. So now here's some truth for you right here. Because unlike the last press secretary, who was dumb as a box of rocks, but hey, don't forget she was black and she was gay. And thus the nickname Black Gay Drop. She when it came out and showed this stuff right here. So now here is the press secretary, the new one, the real one. She's going to tell us how unfair the United States have been treated when it comes down to these tariffs.
This is that we have 50% from the European Union
100%.
on American dairy. You have a 700% tariff from Japan on American rice. You have a 100% tariff from India on American agricultural products. You have nearly a 300% tariff from Canada on American butter and American cheese.
300%? I thought Canada was our neighbor. I thought they were our friends. So wait, let me get this straight. They got butter, we got corn. Hey, neighbor, I thought you need some corn. Yeah, how much you selling the corn for? Oh, well, for you, I'd cut you a break. I'll tell you what, let's go with $1.10 a bushel. I'll just charge you a dime for, tariffs rather. Okay, that sounds good. Well, what about the butter? How much can I get the butter for? Ooh, $10. What? $10? Well, what's the overhead on that? I had to charge you 300% markup on that. So really, I could get the butter for probably about $1.50, but you want me to buy it for $10, but I'm selling you my corn for $1.10. Is that how you want this to roll? What kind of neighbor are you? Yeah, it sounds like you're trying to price gouge me.
This makes it virtually impossible for American products to be imported into these markets, and it has put a lot of Americans out of business.
Yeah, because I'm gonna tell you, if I'm a Canadian, all right, and I'm buying you know, some American products, and they're cheap and stuff like that, and I'm an American, and I'm going, well, how much maybe I can help y'all out. Let me buy some stuff from y'all. Whoa, how much the butter for? Oh, nah, man, I can't do it. I can't sell to them. So the Canadians will never buy our butter because our butter is markup. I'm not buying that butter. However, we'll sell y'all everything. So I don't think that's fair. What about y'all? So now let's see how everybody's responding to Trump finally coming out and saying that's not fair. Liberation Day.
Out of work over the past several decades. So it's time for reciprocity, and it's time for a president to take historic change to do what's right for the American
make that
people.
change.
We're going to start being very wealthy again. We're going to be wealthy as a country because they've taken so much of our wealth away from us. We're not going to let that happen. We truly can be very wealthy. We can be so much wealthier than any country. It's not even believable, but we're getting smart. Nearly a century later, in the face of unrelenting economic warfare, the United States can no longer continue with a policy of unilateral economic surrender. We cannot pay the deficits of Canada, Mexico, and so many other countries. We used to do it. We can't do it anymore.
Wow. Do you understand the powerful, meaning and behind this speech right here? This is a full-blown America First speech. This is what America First looks like. Recognizing the cliff that we are headed off of. And the Democrats would have allowed us to go straight off that cliff, right off the cliff. All of us American citizens that would have been just hoping somehow that our political parties would just one day stop being stupid and allowing us to go ahead and be taken advantage of economically by all these countries and selling our jobs out. Surely they won't let us collapse, would they? Surely they will come to their senses at some point to stop that when everybody knows it's obvious that eventually China would surpass us and all of these other places who are outsourcing. We're outsourcing all this stuff too. And the bad part is they were double dipping. They were hitting the American population and worker 2 times. Either they go ahead and they sell us out by shipping our jobs overseas to China, India, and all these places, and then selling them back to us, or importing a whole bunch of illegal immigrants so they could go ahead and work the jobs in the country. See, so they were cutting us out all the way. Let's go ahead, undermine the American worker by either importing illegals to work their jobs and also, outsourcing their jobs to other countries. So what are we left with? See, so that would have happened until the whole country would have collapsed. And the whole time people would be just hoping for change, hoping that somehow America is just going to save itself. Somehow these politicians aren't going to let their greed, their ideology, let the whole country collapse. No way. And that's exactly where we were going. So this radical approach is necessary because the danger that lies ahead of us if we to continue down that path. So I'm willing to support this type of change.
Care of countries all over the world. We pay for their military. We pay for everything they have to pay. And then when you want to cut back a little bit, they get upset.
Because their money train is being attacked and that. What do you mean? You're not going to let us take advantage of you guys and sell all our products to you and don't allow you to sell nothing to us. What do you mean? Hey, you want us to go ahead and pay up because we have access to the largest buying market. What happens when all of us Americans are broke though? Y'all stealing all the jobs and then importing illegals to take the ones. After a while, we won't be able to buy all your European cars. And all your butter from other countries.
You're not taking care of them any longer, but we have to take care of our people, and we're going to take care of our people first, and I'm sorry to say that.
No, you don't have to apologize. And unlike the Democrats, Trump has been saying this for years. Yeah, he's not a flip-flopper like all the Democrats who were saying this back in the day. Yeah, we need to go ahead and... But look, here's Trump back then.
Got a full-page ad in major U.S.
This one,
newspapers
Oprah loved it.
last year criticizing U.S. foreign policy. What would you do differently, Don?
I'd make our allies, forgetting about the enemies you can't talk to so easily. I'd make our allies pay their fair share. We're a debtor nation. Something's going to happen over the next number of years with this country because you can't keep going on losing $200 billion, and yet we let Japan come in and dump everything right into our markets and everything. It's not free trade. If you ever go to Japan right now and try to sell something, forget about it, Oprah. Just forget about it. It's almost impossible. They don't have laws against it. They just make it impossible.
Yep. And I'm telling more stories about myself that y'all probably, I didn't care did that. I was consulting for a client. I used to do business development as a side gig. And I had a client that had a wonderful, creative little project, little item that I said, man, that's a really good idea. I'm gonna help you guys develop it. So they hired me and I went ahead and I found an engineer who could develop it because it had never been developed. So he went ahead and he developed the product and all of that stuff. And then he said, now I got to hook you up with a manufacturer so you guys can order the product in bulk. And the lady now this was about a good maybe 15 years ago, maybe even more. But the lady that I was consulting for, her and her family was like, okay, now we wanted to purchase each item as low as possible, of course, so we could sell it here in the United States and make a decent profit. And the guy was like, well, I have manufacturers in China and there are some manufacturers in the US. And the lady was like, no, I don't want my stuff being manufactured overseas. I want it here in the US. He said, okay, well, here are the prices, the lowest we can get you. We were talking about a little teeny kind of like plastic wristwatch for a toddler. That's all we was talking about. It had a little character on it and, the character said some things. And the price was incredible. It was $7 a unit. That was the lowest we could have got in America. It was $1.25 per unit if we had it shipped in from China. Not only was it $1 and 25 cents, but the tariffs, the taxes coming in was only like 50 cents. We were paying so low for a bulk of stuff to come in from China that you could not buy it or have it made in the US. It didn't make any like economical sense. You're sitting there going, I can't afford that. When I told her that, when the guy said that, she changed her mind real quick. She was like, China, we just gonna have to go with China. It's a shame. I wasn't even into politics and all of this stuff like I was back then. But, as a consultant, I'm going, unless you got a lot of money laying around and you don't mind your profit being cut into big time, $1.25, $1.75 versus $7 a unit. The lady was like, I can't compete. So that's what Trump was identifying way back then. He was ahead of the curve.
They come over here, they sell their cars, their VCRs, they knock the hell out of our companies. And hey, I have tremendous respect for the Japanese people. You can respect somebody that's beating the hell out of you, but they are beating the hell out of this country. Kuwait, they live like kings. The poorest person in Kuwait, they live like kings. And yet they're not paying. We make it possible for them to sell their oil. Why aren't they paying us 25% of what they're making? It's a joke.
This sounds like political presidential talk to me, and I know people have talked to you about whether or not you want to run. Would you ever?
Probably not.
Yeah, but he had to. And see, this was before they all convinced these dummies to hate Trump. This is back when they would have received a message like that. Gleefully, Americans had a common sense and they'd have been like, that guy's talking sense. That's what made me vote for Trump. I was watching him making these type of appearances on networks years ago, back during this time. And when he was talking, I would be going, that man, Trump is making a lot of sense. That man, wow, man, I was thinking the same thing. So when he told me he was running, that's why I went and said, I want to hear what he says as he comes down this escalator, because I've been catching him addressing issues over the years that I myself was saying, man, that makes so much, man, I was thinking the same thing. And then he comes down that escalator and he had my attention big time. I was like, I want to, and when he said what he said, at that point, I was going, that makes sense. But what happened that night? I turned on CNN. Donald Trump called all Mexicans rapists, drug dealers, and murderers. That's when my eyes opened to the fake news. But look at this guy. I guess he worked for the auto industry, and he's okay with these tariffs.
What I would say is this, Liz. It's already had positive effects before they even went into effect.
Stellantis announced they were going to move a new truck, an EV pickup truck, into the idle Belvidere, Illinois plant.
You think they're going to report on this? You think Abby and all of them going to be talking about the positive stuff that's coming out of this? Doubt it.
So Hyundai, I believe it was, announced a multi-billion-dollar investment in one of the southern states to build a new plant to build their cars and trucks or cars. And
so you're telling me that these overseas companies say, you know what, instead of us making it over here and sending it through there and having to deal with the tariffs that Trump is going to land on us, how about we go ahead and make it inside the country and provide jobs for American citizens, and we don't have to pay the tariff. Just have to pay tax. So that right there makes sense. And look what's happening.
And vehicles down there. So before he even put these into effect, his tariffs were having a positive impact on the American economy and on creating American jobs. Secondly, I just want to note that nobody was crying these crocodile tears when they were closing the Mound Road engine plant.
Yeah, where were all the tears back then when they shut down my dad's steel mill? He had to retire at like 42. America, Youngstown was a big steel mill town. Then we became a ghost town after they shut down all the steel mills and stuff like that. The tumbleweed came in, drug dealers came in, violence came in and stuff like that. But you know what didn't come in? More jobs. Yeah, they came in and our jobs went out overseas. And now all of a sudden over here, I don't know how to make steel. Do you know how to make? Anybody still remember how to make steel? I know we used to do it back in ancient days, but now we rely on other countries to produce our steel. Yeah, but it's coming back, baby. See?
Chrysler had in Macomb County, or the Romeo engine plant in Romeo, Michigan in Macomb County. But all of a sudden, now that we're trying to bring these products back, these components and these vehicles back to the United States, all of a sudden, all the so-called experts are saying it's going to plunge us into recession and be terrible for the economy.
Yeah. Somebody said, what do I think about trafficking? He was a rascal. He had his hands in a lot of stuff. He had some good attributes and some bad attributes. But boy, he was a rascal. That's for sure. Man, I knew a whole bunch of mobsters. I grew up during the time where the mob was still actually active. And I went to school with many of them, the Naples families, and boy, I tell you, the Joey Naples and them. Woo-wee. One of their daughters had a crush on me in high school. I was like, I can't talk to you. She's like, why not? You're just scared. I said, yes, I am. I said, cause see, if you get caught messing with a brother, they might put you on punishment. Me, they break my legs. Stuff like that. Boy, I tell you though. Though I got some stories to tell y'all. But let me get back. Don't get me distracted. Here we go. This guy's talking about bringing some jobs back here.
So thank God. If they're crying, I think we're doing something right.
Bam! So all the people who walked us right into the condition that we're in are whining about these tariffs and Trump's approach. And I'm thinking to myself, aren't y'all the same people who thought that it was a good idea to do the opposite and send all these jobs out? Don't worry, it'll be good for us. It'll be good for us.
And what they can do between now and then to avoid those tariffs. What do they need to do? Have you communicated any metrics to them whatsoever?
Well, we've been talking to the trade ministers of the major trading partners for more than a month, and we've been talking to them. And so you have to understand, and this is what's difficult for your audience to understand, that tariffs are easy to understand, right? We have a 2.5% tariff on autos, and Europe has a 10% tariff, and other people have a 20% or 15% tariff, and that's sort of easy, so they can all come down. But it's the non-tariff trade barriers that are the difference. Some countries have a VAT, and they take that VAT tax of 20% and they use it to subsidize the production of their domestic industries. That's why we can't sell cars there, because they give a rebate. Either they give it directly. One country told me yesterday that they give it directly to their car manufacturer to make their cars cheaper. That's why they sell successfully and we don't.
Wow, so they're giving us the banana in the tailpipe? That's what you're telling me? You telling me that all of these other countries who's taking advantage of us, they're looking out for their countries first? They're looking out for their businesses first? They're looking out for their people first? They don't care about all of our people over here that's losing jobs and all of that stuff? They don't care about all of that stuff? They're not trying to even be fair? And why would they? If they know that we have stupid politicians over here willing to concede that, We don't care how much you guys charge us to sell our stuff over there. And don't worry about it. We just won't sell it. We won't sell it. Or, people won't buy it because it'll be so high. Don't worry about it. You guys are doing what you... Yeah, it's okay with us that we're still allowing China to rip us off like they're a developing country and stuff like that. And have all these... it's okay because we got dumb politicians. Now, understand, Trump was hit to this back in the 80s. Yeah, man, he was ahead of the curve.
Others take the money and use it and give cheap energy costs to this production.
Everybody was getting in on it except us.
Why is everybody else so good at steel and we're not? It's because their governments subsidize it. So we really need to change the way trade works around the world.
Bam.
It's tariffs, but don't get confused that these non-tariff trade barriers, they are the monster that needs to be slain.
And I think Trump's just the man to slay him. I think he's the man to slam. Here he is right here.
Tariffs have come in and every country's called us. That's the beauty of what we do. We put ourselves in the driver's seat. If we would have asked some of these countries, most of these countries, to do us a favor, they would have said no. Now,
absolutely. See, if we'd have just said, look, why can't y'all just be fair? Why are y'all taking... Well, because y'all letting us. I mean... Do you know how much money we were getting from USAID and all of those things too? Hey, why would we say let's be fair when we see you guys are sitting there cranking out tons of money, just throwing it away, billions for stupid stuff? So no, why would we? Well, we're going to milk this cow dry. We will suck out all of the life out of America to where you're no longer a superpower, to where that market right there so emaciated because of, y'all just let it implode, that it's not even worth it anymore to go ahead and sell to Americans because they can't even afford us no more because we sucked them dry. And let's go ahead and start buying over here in China now. Let's start buying over in China. Let's start buying in India and this and that. America's a third world country now. Yeah, they're over there struggling with poverty and stuff like that now. They would have let that happen because why would they change their behavior just because what? They love us. They respect America, and they're like, man, I think we're doing them disfavor right here. We're a little, why don't we go ahead and be fair? No. You know what makes people say, let me reevaluate our arrangement is when the people who have all the advantage and the power, first of all, lets them know, hey, I'm aware of what you're doing. I'm aware that you guys have been taking advantage of us. Don't think that you're dealing with an administration who's blind and stupid and just think this is how things work. Somebody set it up years ago and I'm not going to mess with it. Nope. I'm aware of it. And not only that, I'm demanding that we either have equal or get rid of it all. Yeah, I mean, y'all charging us, what, 25% to come in? We're going to charge y'all 25% to come in. Oh, so now y'all want to talk? Because we have the biggest market right now. Everybody wants to get in. We're like Walmart, man. Let me get my products in Walmart and I'm good. Yeah, man. So Trump knows that. And there's not a better time to do it than now.
They'll do anything for us. But we have tariffs that have been set, and it's going to make our country very rich.
Are you open to deals with these countries if they're calling you?
Well, it depends. If somebody said that we're going to give you something that's so phenomenal, as long as they're giving us something that's good. For instance, with TikTok as an example, we have a situation with TikTok where China will probably say, we'll approve a deal, but will you do something on the tariff? The tariffs give us great power to negotiate.
There it is. The tariffs give us great power to negotiate. But we got anti-American people right here who hate Trump so much that instead of informing Americans that our country was headed off of a cliff, and Trump making this decision is giving us all the leverage to reset the playing field right now. They're convincing a whole bunch of people that Trump's trying to make sure his friends make all the money and he's crashing the stock market and he's gonna all of this stuff. Yeah, that's what their goal is. They don't want people to see this and get on board with this with patriotism because they understand that, hey, whoa, we are tired of being taken advantage of. So yes, we're gonna make other people feel it, and they're gonna feel it way worse than we are. So let's go ahead and deal with the upfront discomfort if we have to reset this game. Because by the time we reset it later, we ain't gonna have no negotiating power. We let this continue down the road, then all of a sudden, When everybody's economy surpasses ours and they got all the leverage, you think they're going to negotiate then? You think they're going to be like, okay, let's call up America. They decided they want some rearrangements and hey guys, anything we can do for you? Why would they do that? Once they tank our economy, once China takes over and becomes the major superpower in the world, they're going to be like, no, y'all need access to our market. So maybe y'all should be calling us little country. So Trump is ahead of the curve. And I, for one, was like, do it.
Always have. I've used them very well in the first administration, as you saw, but now we're taking it to a whole new level because it's a worldwide situation.
It's fair that you have tariffs.
Look at this. Up there in Canada where they was charging us 300% tariffs on butter, I think, something like that. This guy right here, who started off talking reckless. He started off talking reckless a couple months back, talking about, that's right, we're going to hit him with terrorists and he changed his tune. However, unfortunately, Canada has a new man chicken who's trying to cluck. Yeah, he's trying to be tough with a cluck.
On a whole number of products.
That's right. And we'd be willing to take those off tomorrow if he took all the tariffs off.
Well, look at that. That's all we've been asking for. You know what I'm saying? Everybody can solve this. How about this? Everybody drops the tariffs. There it is. You ship your stuff to us. Everybody lowers the price now. Consumers are able to buy stuff at a very low price if nobody's paying tariffs. There it is. That's all. Pay your sales tax or whatever, and that's it. But this guy got the revelation quick after talking tough months ago. Like, we're going to show America. Now all of a sudden he's like, I'm ready to deal. Let's go ahead and drop the tariffs. But somebody now is not listening to the voice of reason because this guy right here, he's repentant. But the new man chicken ain't.
We are not the problem, Andrew. Do you know the problem is? China's the problem.
I just want to go back for a moment. If in fact you're prepared to take your tariffs off, why wouldn't you have that negotiation and that conversation now before any tariffs get put in place?
Well, we've had this conversation for over the last month. We don't want tariffs.
Well, look at that. Over the last month. But over the last, 50, 60 years, yeah, y'all wanted them. Y'all never stopped on your own to say, whoa, we're giving the U.S. a bad deal. Or what made y'all come to that revelation? Was it just your own conscience? Yeah, just like the Democrats, they don't know when to stop when it comes down to illegal immigrants. Hey, you think their own conscience would have said, whoa, 11 plus million, that's a little too much, guys. We might want to go ahead and stop this before everybody wakes up and sees it's a problem. But nope, dummies, greedy, keep it coming. Y'all gonna make us have to say, all right now. And that's exactly. This guy right here in the last month, now all of a sudden he wants to get rid of tariffs. He wants to get rid of that. Yeah, the last month woke me up when Trump started digging into me with those tariffs. But if he would have never said nothing, you think that guy would have came to that revelation all by himself? Never. They would have continued abusing us.
We have another $65 billion worth of tariffs to launch today. That's the last thing we want to do.
Absolutely.
Because it's just, again, it's going to hurt both countries. Yeah. It's going to hurt American workers.
Now we want to be fair.
I want.
Andrew meant take the other ones off, not the ones you're launching today. The ones you already got.
You're saying you take all your tariffs off. I'm saying
we will take them all. That's right.
Then why is that not already? I guess my question is, why has all of that not already happened?
Bam! You know why? Because he was gouging. They were taking advantage of us because we didn't have a Trump in office. That's why. It's like going into a car dealership and you up there trying to get a car. It's all right. This car right here is Doc. I'm gonna go ahead and shave a little off for you. I think I could get it down to 20 grand for you. 20 grand? Oh man, that's a little too high, man. Well, what are you looking at? What are you thinking about? Well, I'm thinking, not 20 grand. Okay, give me a minute. Let me see. This is gonna hurt me. Though, but I'll take it down from 20 to 19.5. 19.5? Nah, man, I'm cool, man. Okay, so let me, you know what? Hold up. I like you a lot. Let me go talk to my manager. See what he got to say. They come back and they're like, okay, I think he just really wants to get the inventory out. Normally we wouldn't do this, but he said he'll knock it down to 18. 18? Ooh, that's tight, but I'm thinking 15. 15? Oh man, I can't, you know what? That's just too low. I won't make any money. Well, then no deal. All right, well, thanks anyway. And right when you get up, they're like, wait, stop. Come here. Sit down. 15 out the door. 15 out the door. Let me go talk to my manager. And it comes back. Okay. Oh boy, this is gonna hurt. I'm not gonna. My wife's gonna be mad at me. She's gonna be mad. But he said he'll let it go for 15. Now my question to them is, why didn't you let it go at 15 up front? You knew you had $5,000 to work with. You knew you had that $5,000. So your bottom line was 15, and you know you have to make X amount of money. So most likely the car's worth 10, and you're making 5 off of it. But you wanted to make 10 off of it, see, by charging me an extra 5,000. So if you could have given me this deal, back then, why didn't you give it to me? Why are you giving it to me now? If you could have gave it to me up front, see. So now something's shady about you. I don't care how many times you went and talked to the manager. You already knew what you wanted out of this car. Same thing with Canada. Now all of a sudden he wants to give the deal. Why weren't you trying to give that deal earlier? Why did it take Trump saying, I'm willing to walk away? Okay. Well, wait. Come. Look, you know what? Actually, I'm not even a fan of tariffs. I'm not. How about we all just get rid of them? Where was that deal earlier? Huh? See, so now we're going to end with this. Canada's new man chicken, y'all. Look at him. He's talking tough.
For the next month to earn the right to represent Canada in those discussions, to get the best deal for Canada under the new U.S. approach. At the same time, Canada must be looking elsewhere to expand our trade, to build our economy, and to protect our sovereignty.
Oh, Canada trying to cheat on us, y'all. Y'all hear that? Canada's up here talking about they don't love us like they used to. They used to buy us everything and give us everything we wanted. And every time we asked for more, they'd be like, sure. But then all of a sudden they start thinking that maybe we gold diggers. And they said, you know what, the money train, I can't be giving you all of this. I'm only making so much money, and I didn't like it. So I'm starting to look around for a new love, baby, a new love. So Canada's trying to cheat on us because we're not giving them everything they want like we used to.
Canada is ready to take a leadership role in building a coalition of like-minded countries who share our values.
Oh, shoot. So we finally came up with have y'all done for us lately? Ooh, yeah. And they decided we ain't done nothing for y'all. In fact, what we gonna do is start shopping around for a new love. Now, these fools, as low as their GDP is and all of that stuff, these guys want to go ahead and pretend that they're going to shop around for like-minded countries. Basically, countries that's been milking us. And y'all all know what y'all been doing. Y'all all are globalist. And y'all all been taking advantage of us. But I wonder how that's going to work out.
We believe in international cooperation. We believe in the free and open exchange of goods, services, and ideas.
See, so that's a threat to us. You hear Canada trying to threaten us with the new man chicken? We're going to see. We're going to see if this man chicken blinks. We're going to see when the big semi-truck is coming straight for his Volkswagen in the middle of the street. Let's see who turns. Let's see who turns. There it is. We're going to see who finally goes. I don't think it's going to be the semi. I think it's going to be the Volkswagen. So now what he's doing is he's laying it out there. Hint, hint. America with your America First agenda and Trump up there. Y'all no longer share our values. You're not like-minded like us. Okay. So now we're going to try to form a coalition outside of y'all. We might be shopping, with Canada, China or some of these places. Go ahead and see how that all works out.
And if the United States no longer wants to lead, Canada will.
Brother, do you want to go to war? Come on. Do you want to go to war? We'll take you to war, okay?
Yep, that's what's going to happen. Trump you want to go to war? Okay. I'll take you to war, man. Okay? Say hello to my little friend. So it looks like the man chicken from Canada, the new man chicken, is up there talking about he wanted to go to war. Yeah, I work with y'all. Now, I don't even know what happened to Polly there. I thought he was like the leading front runner. Then the original man chicken goes down, and then this pseudo man chicken pops up. Did they even have an election? What happened? I'm sitting there like, what the? All of a sudden, this dude's up here talking about as the new prime minister. I'm like, good grief. So anyway, we're going to end with this. We're going to let the brain explain. Now, you know who the brain is, Stephen Miller. Stephen Miller is about to lay down beautifully how our economic system has been molested by these globalists and what the real goal and agenda was. And he lays it down beautifully to where it's any American with common sense, after hearing this, would say, yes, they were that. I see it clearly now. That was the plan. That was the goal. And Trump peeped it out, and we're stopping it. Go, Trump, go. Listen to this breakdown.
What is globalization? What is this economic policy that our elites in the United States, so-called elites, have had for the last half century, Democrat and Republican? Globalization is the redistribution of American wealth to foreign countries.
Bam! Y'all got that so far? Because the brain explains. Yeah, see, you got to be smart to keep up with the brain. So, redistribution of our economics, our wealth to other countries. Y'all hear that? Because they're globalists. Y'all can't just have all the power and all the money and all the jobs over there in America. Think about everybody else. Remember the song, I believe the children are future, and all of that stuff. Yeah, let's sing, we are the world. Don't forget about that, guys. So they came up with a diabolical scheme to redistribute the wealth.
It is a formal policy of trying to develop foreign nations at the expense of the U.S. working and middle class.
There you go. Sounds like a liberal to me. Or a corrupt Republican who's saying, well, I'll go ahead and agree to that for some kickbacks. There it is. So now we're going to help all these other countries because I guess our taxpayers are just that kind and stuff like that. Because surely we're not doing it. Surely it's not coming out of all of us politicians who allowed this to happen, our paycheck. No, don't worry. We got billions to give to you guys, along with jobs, millions of jobs to these countries and billions of dollars to you guys too. See, that's not including the foreign aid and all the other stuff we give you outside of our jobs that we've sent. Yeah, so they were redistributing the wealth at our expense, not theirs. They were getting rich over it. What else?
Trillions of dollars that would be in the pockets of American workers.
Like back in the day?
Is now in China, Cambodia, Vietnam, Thailand, Canada, Mexico, all across Africa, all across Asia.
So maybe we need to move there so we can get our jobs back? Came all the way to Taiwan so I could get my job back. What do you mean I only make $3 over here an hour? What the crap? I'm going back to America where there is no jobs. Didn't even, well, shoot. I guess I got to stay here and make $3 an hour. But they wouldn't let that happen though. See, because remember, they don't open their doors and welcome in all of the people around the world and bring us your sick year. They don't do that over there in Taiwan and China and all those places.
It is the great theft of American prosperity. Prosperity that was won through our victory in multiple wars. We left World War II as the dominant economic unipolar superpower. And instead, over the ensuing decades, all of that wealth, all of that manufacturing, all of that industry was ripped apart by our elites, shipped to foreign countries, and then they sent us the bill.
Sent us the bill. How you make that right there? I got to give it to all of these the other countries. Yeah, they were gangsters. They sat back like, what the? These dummies are willing to go along with that? Okay. Oh yeah, I'm gonna take advantage of it. Oh, by the way, you guys now have to pay tariffs to sell to us. So thank you though for sending all of the jobs over here. And you got to pay us. You got to pay us. Unbelievable, man. But you will have liberals who are blinded by this truth and this reality that would rather our country go right off the cliff, allowing us to be abused because they are blinded by Trump derangement syndrome, Elon Musk derangement syndrome, even though all the Democrats back in the day were saying the same stuff, recognizing the same stuff, saying we need to do something about this. It's unfair. But soon as the Democrats change it up, their voters, okay, now we believe this easily.
They said you have to protect Korea, you have to protect Europe, you have to protect Canada, you have to protect Japan.
Darn right. So not only are they beating us up with their tariffs, selling all the products that they outsourced and start manufacturing in their countries that used to be in our country, back to our country with tariffs, they're also, many of them, are getting protection from the U.S. Protection, guys. I mean, this is a silky deal. Do you understand? You ain't got to spend your own capital for protection. Yet y'all can sell stuff to the U.S. at an inflated rate, make all the money and stuff like that. Why would we want to invest in our own, military might and all that stuff when we got y'all? We got y'all. Y'all got the biggest military budget ever. Yeah, ever. See, not to mention all of the money y'all are giving for charity and, for humanitarian stuff to our country and some other crazy product and ideal and some, transgenders. Don't forget that. Y'all want to help them develop and you want to do research in our country. Just keep sending us the money. Just keep sending us the money. So my man right here, the brain explains what they really were doing.
We won't take your cars. We won't take your agriculture. We'll take away your steel industry, your aluminum industry, your copper industry, your electronics industry, all of the national industries that you need to be secure and successful as a country.
Yep. So to make y'all weak and codependent on all the other countries who stole all the wealth from us. That's how you collapse a country. That's how you bring in globalism. Because guess what? How can you bring in the one world government and you got one country who holds all the power? Any sane country that has all the power wouldn't want to surrender their sovereignty for a globalist agenda. Because they're going, why should we? Why should we join your global agenda when all of these countries evolve around our economic might, our military might? Yeah, why should we do that? Oh, we won't do that. And if the people knew that's what we were up to, they would revolt. So what we're going to do is we're going to start chipping away at American sovereignty from the inside out. Starting off with outsourcing the jobs and saying this is a good thing. Starting out with bringing in illegal immigrants who don't care about the country. Yeah, there you go. Start manipulating the minds of Americans to start hating their sovereignty, hating their country, talking about the past of the country sucks. America ain't never done nothing for me, and this and this and that, and it's a bunch of, start doing that. Because by the time we get finished pushing all of that trash into America, people will be so demoralized, so beat down, so looking for change that when we introduce the concept of just join the one world government, everybody will be on that same equal playing ground. People will be like, fine, let's do it. But Trump peeped that mess out early and was like, ain't happening. So Stephen Miller is disclosing their plan.
So what President Trump is saying is, these are the injustices you have to remedy. This isn't just about moving around some lines on a ledger. This is about remedying the systemic injustice that says the streets of America are filled with European cars and Japanese cars, but the streets of Europe and Japan have no American cars.
So wait, we're not going to be able to go to Japan and Europe and see the IROC? Yeah, I'm talking the old one with the T-tops. We're not going to be able to go over there and see all of our American muscle cars. And 57 Chevys riding around. Oh, we ain't going to be able to see that. Remember that car that Dan Tanner used to drive? We ain't going to be able to see that. No Torinos from Starsky and Hutch. None of those. Yeah, we're not going to see a bunch of man truck pickups rolling around over in China. And none? No? So Japan could send everything over here. We can buy up all of those Mercedes and all of that stuff right there, BMWs. But then when we go, hey, we got some nice man trucks for you guys. How about we sell? No, we don't want that. Too much. But I mean, we'll take it if you're willing to pay our tariffs. If you're willing to pay our tariffs. And then the people over here will say, man, I can't even afford that truck. So there you have it, Stephen. That does not sound like fair trade to me. Sounds like they're trying to collapse our economy and take advantage of us.
This is about saying that the American steel industry, which once built and sustained the modern world, it is now a former husk of itself, coming back now thanks to Trump's tariffs.
Thanks to Trump's tariffs. The steel industry is making a comeback, y'all. So let me understand. If we would have left things like they are and up to the Democrats, when we would need stuff to go to war, perhaps against one of our enemies, we would look real stupid having to first ask our enemies to supply us with the stuff we need to fight them. You see how that works? All right, we're declaring war on China. That's it. They're invading our space. They're all up there and down there by Cuba. We got to do something. But first, Chi, can we get a shipment of steel and y'all make all our batteries and stuff? We was hoping we can power some stuff with the batteries y'all make so we can go to war. We can't go to war without the stuff we've outsourced to y'all. And we got some people that's sick too. We need some penicillin. Y'all wouldn't happen. Oh, and our grid went down and the pieces for the grid. It's kind of funny now that I think y'all make those pieces. And we kind of need that grid. No, Okay. I probably wouldn't have made that deal either. Okay, well, that's all right, guys. Get the sticks and stones. Let's go ahead and just take our, because that's what would happen. Everybody is making stuff that we need. And I cannot believe it when I was hearing some of the stuff that was being outsourced to other countries. And I'm going, why would we be that dumb? Now, what happens when we need a generation to start making the stuff that those old school dudes used to do like nothing? We'd be in trouble. First of all, they too lazy to even do it, man. It's hot in here, man. I ain't trying to be making no steel, man. My old man used to come home sweaty as a mug, dirty, all kind of soot and stuff from the mill on him. His hands all scarred up. Ah, man, it was hot. They had me working right by the oven, and I was pouring this in them. Nowadays, dudes would be like, man, I ain't even trying to do that, man. Hey, man, let's just buy it from China. Stupid, man. So, Stephen, thank you for breaking that down.
Has to be completely revitalized. Stephen?
Yes, has to be completely revitalized, and Trump's just the man to do it. But we have the opposition out there who's hating just because it's Trump who's doing this. The Democrats know that this is necessary. They know it's smart. They always talking about it back in the day. Maybe not the new Democrats, but those old schools. You know, I saw a montage today with Nancy Pelosi saying the same thing, Obama, Bill Clinton, all of them, Joe Biden, they were all saying what Trump is saying and doing. But now all of a sudden, Trump's doing it, and he's about to ruin everything. He's ruined our relationships with our allies. No, our allies taking advantage of us is ruining the relationship. We're no longer going to put the relationship above common sense. We still will be an ally, but you would treat us equally. We'll be an equal ally. There you have it. You treat us equally, we got your back. Yeah, man. But if you sitting here, I wonder how much of an ally you are when you are marking your butter up 300%. See, that don't sound like an ally to me. So God bless y'all. God bless America. We will see how this all pans out, won't we? To the end, people. So thanks for kicking it with me tonight. It's Friday night. I don't know what y'all gonna do, but y'all might as well go ahead and do it. All the same. Yeah, just make sure whatever you do, you don't kick the ball too far over the fence that you can't go get it. And you know what? My coach told me that in college, and I understood that analogy from the first time. See, he didn't even have to explain it. Right before the games, every night before the game, he's like, guys, we getting up early. We got a game tomorrow. So I'm just telling you, don't kick the ball so far over the fence that you can't go get it. And I was like, for some reason, I understand that analogy. Because I've been there before where I kicked the ball so far, I'm like, forget it, man. I'll just buy another ball. There it is. I'm not going over there to get that. I probably shouldn't have been out there kickballing anyway. It's too far gone. So anyway, so God bless y'all. Don't forget, hit the like button on the way out. Share my videos. Check out Kevin's Corner store. Somebody said, Kevin for CNN. Boy, I wish they would beam me. Beam me in, Scotty. Right on the set. Me and Scott would tag team the heck out of those losers. I would love it. Yeah. And then finally, if you want to support the channel through my Cash App, my PayPal, please do so. The links are below each video. Make sure your notifications are turned on to all. I might slide in something over the weekend, depending on how I feel. And subscribe to all my alternative channels. And text MAGA to that number so you can stay connected just in case they out me on this platform. Now, let's get out of here. Yeah, man. America first, baby. This is awesome. Yeah. Take care.